This episode of the Shit Dad podcast is brought to you by Black Property Group. If you're turned off by the stereotypical real estate experience, get to know Ant and the team. Whether you're looking to upgrade in the future or get into your dream home now, look no further than Black Property Group. Find them on www.blackpg.com.au, and we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed making it.
Shit Dad Podcast.
Celebrating the mistakes that all parents make. You're listening to the Shit Dad Podcast. G'day, and thanks for joining us at the Shit Dad Podcast, where we try to change you from lad to quintessential Aussie dad while celebrating the fatherhood wins and bins that come with it. I'm Nick.
I'm Cam.
And I'm Dave.
And we thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy days to have a listen and share your fatherhood stories. This episode, we'd love to touch on what you're telling your kids about Australia Day. We're pretty conservative because it is a pretty contentious issue, and there's really some things that have to be addressed above our pay grade. But first, I want to talk to you boys about the difference between seeing parents at the shops on school holidays and seeing parents walk their kids into school on the first days back at school. There is a friggin' spring in the step, hey.
Can you hear that song? Sunshine, lollipops.
You can definitely see it on their face.
Yeah.
Oh, I caught up with so many parents over the school holidays so the kids could have a play, and just the demeanour of parents on the first day back is just something else. Everyone's just so chipper. The conversation's bright, bubbly, and without even noticing, I'm sitting there going, "You are so fucking happy your kids are back."
I'm going to work. Yeah.
It's quite funny. Then you see all the teachers there, and they're all like doing the pretend happy face. Oh, it's so great to see you guys.
100%.
Oh, my fucking holidays are finished, you fucking frickin'.
Whoever did the fake welcome back to school emails, kudos to them, because they made it sound like it was legit. The teachers were just over the moon to have everyone back, and I'm sitting there going, fuck off. No way.
It's just, hey, look, it's a 10-week sprint. All right, got it. 10 weeks.
Already got the end in sight.
10 weeks.
Well, room set up, Dave. Ready to go?
I think so.
Yeah, you're back tomorrow, aren't you?
Yep.
Which is Tuesday, because all the private school kids get that extra day off because they're just better than everyone else and they know it.
Yep. You pay more, you go to school less.
That is the dream.
That doesn't make
for the
sense.
kids, not the parents.
No. Yep. Room set up. I work with two very controlling people who need it a certain way. I'm like, just do whatever you need to do.
Do they do it though?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I
Cool.
literally just set up my little teacher pod, which is like a little desk on wheels.
Yeah.
And like, what are you doing? I'm like, just setting up this.
I always imagined your teacher pod would be in the corner and a hammock.
No, it just moves wherever the comfiest seat is. Or in the corner, hiding.
You got Shit Dad stickers all over it?
No. But it's on the car. And so every time I reverse it in, and we go to the hall for assembly, everyone has to walk past it to see that sticker.
Yes, that's good. My wife always complains about the Shit Dad sticker on the car because she works at a primary school, and I'm like, so they can't read-ish?
Yet.
What do you mean? I'm trying to sell shirts to parents. I'm at the front in the booth. Like, hey guys, it's no dads. Hey, buy this for your husband for Father's Day.
Oh, that's so good. Speaking of, we got a few extra shirts left over. We got XL, 2XL, and 3XL. So
Only a few left.
plus side daddios.
Yep.
Get into it. Only $20.
Plus P&H.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Handling ain't free.
Or we'll drop it to your house.
You do well. Look, we'll drop it to your house, and if you have a beer there for us, you'll probably get all three of us.
100%, exactly. Another thing I wanted to bring up, boys. Anyone had a good dad injury lately?
Phew.
I'm talking about not the odd stub toe or head into the range hood or anything. I'm
You're
talking about
on the workbench.
whatever, could be. Congrats if it is.
Yeah, well, no, you're looking at the wrong.
Not me, but yeah.
The only one I've had recently, I in the middle of the night at the in-laws over Christmas, I kicked a wooden bed, and it hurt like an absolute.
Did you wake everyone up in the groan?
Yeah, I did swear very loudly. And then a month went by, and then all of a sudden was getting pain in the foot. Went to the physio, and he's like, "Oh yeah, one of your little, bricks is out of the archway here. Crack it back in. Good as new."
What?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's one of those amazing ones. I think he's a physio, Kari. I always get confused with
Wow.
that. Anyway, he's one of the guys that just crunches things back into place and it works again.
Jeez, one of your wheels had no bearings.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep.
That's unreal. No, I mean, ingrown toe that I pulled out myself.
Yeah. That's cruel.
Did you show someone
So
What do you
proud.
mean?
while
As
you're
in-
doing it? Like,
Oh
show
yeah,
a man
like,
you
yeah.
are.
No, the missus there watching. It's like, you're right. I'm like, it's bleeding a little bit.
I'm brave. I'm a big boy.
I've had
Big
6
boy
beers.
Dave.
Leave me alone. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. I don't care. And now I've just got half a toe now.
Actually, speaking of Dave, before we get to dad jokes,
Yep.
I heard a really good one, Dave related. What do you call David who lost his ID? Dav. Nice.
Actually, do you know how many times I go and like when you order coffee, what's your name? Dave, and then they call out, "Hey, Dav." I'm like, Dav,
I'm Indian.
fucking Dav. Like, no, Dave has an E because A says its name. Got it?
Back to the dad injuries, boys. Mine actually comes from training in the Anytime Fitness Griffin.
Oh, a bit
plug.
of a flex there.
Little flex and a
Oh,
plug.
yeah, you go to the gym now. Yeah.
And it came training with Dav himself, and
Good old Dav.
try the old back squats, and I did what I normally do and just try and lift what I used to lift, and straight into
Not
it.
work up to it.
Nah, like it was a warm up, and then a little bit heavier, and then on the little bit heavier, I was just like, oh yeah, that didn't feel great, hey Dav. And all of a sudden, my back's fucked for a week.
Oh, no.
It was no good.
I was sitting on the bench. We're trying to do maxes. We're just testing ourselves. And
Yeah.
this minute, I'm like, I've watched over the squats. It's like, well, that looks a bit awkward.
Ben's is about to buckle.
Just next minute, nah, I'm no good to do anymore. I'm like, oh no.
Is it all right now, or is it still
Oh,
bad?
it's getting there. And yeah, I was just sort of hoping that there wasn't anything too strenuous at work. Like it would have been all right, but anyway, away from the compo side of things, I didn't realize like when you cook your lower back or like when it's you sort of strain it, how much it affects your like ability to father.
Oh yeah, it's all just bending over and lifting things up awkwardly.
Bend, lift,
Yeah.
shuffle things with your feet.
Yep.
Have you ever tried to drag something with your feet with cooked like? First of all, like the last 6 months has been my groin, so I couldn't drag anything with my foot. Groin's good now, so I drag stuff with my foot, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this now. I'm a big man, big man Bents.
Watch me, Dad,
Yeah.
guys.
And then all of a sudden, I cook my back, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can't do that again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I've told you guys 90% of my parenting is with my feet.
Yeah, nice.
You
You do have monkey feet.
yeah, and picking things up, but that was generally because I had to stop bending over for a while because of the back. Yeah.
I was just thinking that what we do as dads, yes, I know we mums do this stuff too, but had to pick up a few last minute things for the school, for the classroom. I had both girls with me, one in the pram, 4-year-old's walking, almost 4-year-old. Oh, can you put me up on your shoulders? Can't you just hop on that skateboard thing that this pram has? Or sit on the front of the pram?
Yeah, that we paid an extra $150
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
No, I want to hop on your shoulders. Yep, okay, well, I can't hold on to you because I'm pushing a pram and carrying some shopping. So, anyway, some of my shoulders
If you
push the
fall, it's
pram.
your own
It's like,
fault.
Hold on. It's like, I kind of want to get down, Dad. It's really rocky up here. I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
because
I bloody told you so.
I told you. But anyway,
Dad jokes.
all right.
Reckon there should be a millennial version of Monopoly where you just travel around the board paying rent and never able to buy anything.
That's gold.
That's awesome. I went to the bookstore today. Saw that they had a book, How to Solve 50% of Your Problems. So I bought 2.
Hey. What's the difference between an oral and a rectal thermometer?
What?
Taste.
The taste.
Was that actually
Yeah.
awesome? Oh, that's good.
I got one more.
Let's do it.
I just didn't want to put you on
I
the
won't
bus
guess
again,
this
I can
time.
see.
What does the sign on? Hold on. What does the sign on an out of business brothel say?
No, what?
Beat it. We're closed.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
Ooh. I like these recent ones of yours, Cam.
Yeah, I found another website.
Was it 69 Dirtiest Dad Jokes?
Something like that. Now, of course, don't forget, we mention it all the time, but please get in touch with us at the pod, shitdadpod@gmail.com. Whatever you're doing, stop it and just flick us a note with some interesting story or a dad hack or anything. Questions you'd like us to cover on the pod, please send it through. or you can hit us up at Shit Dad Pod on Instagram, the Shit Dad Podcast on Facebook, and of course that group chat we've got going, the Shit Daddery Booster Yarn, a private chat, but anyone can join. We've had our 100th member over this week as well,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's been good, and some great content coming through.
Yep.
So keep it coming through, guys. Obviously, if you are listening to this in Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever, make sure you jump in right now, add in a 5-star review. It's super easy. Find the pod in the app, scroll down, click on the 5 stars, and you've done it. It's instant. Or leave a review and just say something nice about us. We'd love to hear that. And
No
of course,
shit ones.
No, only good reviews, 5 stars. And of course, the merch that we've got, those shirts and stubby coolers, don't forget about those. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Black Property Group. If you're looking for a real estate partner in North Brisbane, get in touch with Ant and the team.
That was really efficient.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. I think we should leave it up.
We're getting better.
Let's wrap it there.
It was great listening to everyone.
So speaking of the Instagram page, getting in touch with us at ShitDadPod on Instagram, we had someone send in a absolute belter of a dad story. David sent in. So my 6-year-old wanted to cook tacos for dinner. My anxiety is just going through the roof. He was doing pretty well and supervised around the stove and the knife, chopping and cooking. I like cooking, so it's good to pass on the skills. Everything. I'm trying to read this, and it's just like there's typos. I just can't deal with it. But thanks, David. It's all right.
I'm actually
Everything's
I'm used to reading
prepared.
10-year-olds writing.
Everything's prepared. Tacos are heated out of the oven. Meat is served. I tell my son to prep the salad while I wash my hands. I come back. He's so proud, man. The look on his face, proud dad moment. 6-year-old, can I make your taco, Dad? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, son. He puts it all together for me and hands it to me like it's the greatest gift from God, which it is. I take a massive bite and nearly broke my tooth. Now, at this point, my son's looking at me like he needs my approval. Buddy, this is amazing. His smile is both relief and adoration, while I turn away and take a piece of green texture out of my mouth and continue to eat the rest. The recipe said add greens for texture. He read it as add a green texture. That's amazing. And I've just realised no one sent that in. That was a social shit daddery. That's something I saw on, I think it was Dad's Community on Facebook.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
How good.
far out. That's phenomenal. That's probably my favourite dad story for a while. Hey,
Good on him for following the recipe.
green texture.
Yeah.
He's
pretty
6 and he's like reading the recipe himself. He's doing all those skills. Mate, hats off. Well done, buddy.
I must say, my 7-year-old has all of a sudden taken a shine to cooking as well because he sees me in the kitchen cooking all the time. So he's like, "Oh, Dad, give us a look at that. I want a bar of it."
Can be just simple things, hey? Just like chop this up with the little kid knives. Those are pretty
Yeah.
easy for them to use.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Look, I think it's great, except for when I don't want to make a mess. Then it's like, can I help cook? No. Why? Because it's flour and it's egg. But yeah,
And I want to keep my sanity.
I won't make a mess.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
every
you
kid
can
ever.
hold this stirrer while I hold it too, and the bowl. One stir. Okay, you're done.
This is morning. I have not had any beers, so I'm not saying yes to anything.
All right, we're keen to get into the chew
Yep,
for the
let's do
week.
it.
So with this week being Australia Day, so by the time you listen to this, Australia Day will be tomorrow, because obviously everyone listens on Wednesday when
I
we
think you
release the
mean
episode.
tomorrow, but keep going.
Tomorrow, yeah. I posed the question to one of my favourite Facebook groups, the Australian Dads Network, the Dads Only Yarn Barn. So get on board with them. Those boys are doing phenomenal things for men's health, based over in WA, but it's Australia wide. And the boys on there are very active, and the advice is awesome. So I posted one thing, and I got like 50 comments. So here's a question for you, fellas. With all the debate the last few years about Australia Day and what it means, what do you teach your kids about it, if anything at all? And I had to edit. To clarify, I couldn't care less. It's just another day, and I reckon it's worth teaching the kids about the history of Australia all year round. Can I re-clarify that clarification?
Yes.
There was so much debate on that thread that I was just like, I have to just say that I'm not trying to start trouble here.
Yeah.
I do actually care. But I think I think it's important to teach our kids some things, but we'll get into that soon. But I was interested to hear some of the answers back, and I'd love to hear your boys' response on what you're going to teach your kids in the future. and your sort of view on it all. But I'll read out 2 or 3. The top 3. Well, that date in history is the day of invasion and massacre of the oldest living people. Why would you want to celebrate that? Why can't the date be changed if all we are celebrating is our beautiful country? I'll celebrate again when the date is changed to a date my people weren't massacred and enslaved. Cheers. Straight up off the bat, I was like, okay, we're going to have to make a little edit on the post now. And I love the passion.
Yeah, and it's good to get the different perspectives.
Exactly, and it's really important. So, but then there's guys who come on. My boys have both Royyyyy blood. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong.
Camilla Roy, yep.
Camilla Roy, blood on their mother's side, and 1788 convict blood on my side. Is that English blood?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we usually talk about the history of the day from both sides and treat it as a day of remembrance. Then I have a beer and cook some lamb in my Mario Kart Havianas and Canberra Raiders budgie smugglers.
Oh, that's great.
I'll get one of the other good ones. Good question, Nick. Thanks very much, by the way. It comes up a lot this time of year. My kiddo is a bit young, just 4. So I haven't had a big chat with him. However, I reckon I'll end up explaining both the First Nation as well as colonial perspective with a heavy emphasis on explaining reparation and unification. Currently, we do some bedtime reading that includes books with First Nation authors as well as some Dreamtime tales.
Wow.
That's my favourite comment because as far, like, I'll just read the 3. If you want to get involved and read more, jump onto the ADN because, like I said, best Facebook page around for dads. Apart from the shit daddery booster yarn, obviously, yeah. But yeah, I think it's really important to be teaching the kids about it without sort of making them feel like they owe anything.
Yeah, it's and it's interesting to see that. It's not surprising the response that you got because it is such a divisive thing,
Isn't it? Yeah.
I was talking to a few people about this, not this topic, but just in general Australia Day at work this week. Because I don't know about you, but this year there doesn't seem to have been as much in the media around the whole change the date, around the debate, around the different sides. And I don't know if that's because it's been so heavily in the media in the last few years.
Yeah.
People are kind of, more and more accustomed to, the discussion and things like that. But what I've also noticed is that especially Amnesty and I think Clothing the Gaps, which is an First Nations fashion company as well.
Clothing the Gaps.
Clothing the Gaps, yeah. They have come out and said they're not going to try and petition to change the date anymore. They said there is no date that they're going to be happy with, essentially.
Yeah.
And they want to change the conversation to, what can we do, to kind of bring people back together in the future, which has been the disappointing thing, I guess, over the last couple of years. It has been so strongly divided. And so it comes a time of year where I get people want to celebrate, but as well, you kind of like, I've taken any enjoyment out of it because it's so divisive. So, you don't enjoy that as much as with your kids or with your family or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of as your kids get older, you can get them accustomed to different stories and different, perspectives and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think my kids are old enough yet. They're still, they still at daycare, learn a little about the Dreamtime and they can hear some stories on ABC Kids and things like that.
Yeah.
But as they get older, and I'm sure in school as well, there'll be a lot of kind of discussion around it too. So for us, it'll just be, we'll have to, we get the option at work now to have the day off or to work, which is the first time ever that this year that's happened. And a lot of people that I work with are going to just work because they don't want to celebrate it. But for parents, your kids, it's a public holiday and your kids are at home. So you have to do something. You can't sit at home and say, I'm not celebrating, I'm not doing anything. You have to do something with the kids. So
Cook lamb in your budgie smugglers.
that's right.
Mm.
Mario
And Mario Havies. I think, like you, Cam, girls are too young at the moment to really dive into it all. The teacher perspective for me is a lot of the stuff we do, we try to take that perspective in. How can we link it and stuff like that there? And it's, when I say it's a hard topic, for me, I don't want to be insulting to their heritage or anything like that. So I don't want to do it wrong. So I can't, it's just so hard because I would hate to, because we got, a good percentage of students who are, who have, some percentage of First Nations people in them. So it's a tough one because I don't want to be saying, hey, this is this perspective, hey, from a total white guy whose family heritage lines back to England, Ireland, Scotland, with it. But we are trying to teach everyone more perspectives and stuff of this, and even the way you teach. Sit down, let's have a talk, let's chat about it. Okay, now go off, in their little groups and, similar, taking some of that heritage that they've got there.
Yeah.
But I like that last one where we do some stories from, First Nations authors and stuff like that.
I think I saw a quote where you have to give away your culture to keep your culture, or something along those lines. It's basically you have to share your culture for it to continue on. And that's how they're doing it at the moment. I just love the fact that ABC's on board with the Dreamtime
Makes it a lot
stories
easier.
on
Yeah.
ABC Kids. And it's exposing them to that culture a lot earlier, which they should. We're descended from obviously Anglo-Saxons, but also from Indigenous Australians. And I think kids, I am teaching my kids about it, mainly through that sort of stuff, doing a little bit of research and little YouTube videos. There's some really good YouTube videos out, about aimed at 7-year-olds, and so it's really good. Kids in school, from prep, are being taught about Indigenous culture and how they're very community driven. When we were talking to Mark Fitztopper Popper, very similar. They're very community driven. It takes a community to raise but they're learning about Dreamtime and everything from prep. It's awesome. Right. And our school are doing yarning circles a couple of times a year and smoke ceremonies. Yeah, right. And bringing the whole community together. And the last one, there was just one First Nations bloke who came in. He was an Aboriginal bloke. He came in with his whole traditional get up on, the paint, the didgeridoo, the eucalypt leaves, did a full smoking ceremony. We were in a massive circle on the school oval, and they called it a yarning circle. And he told us what a yarning circle is, why they do yarning circles, why they do smoke ceremonies. And for half an hour, just talking to us about Aboriginal culture. It was awesome. Yeah. I probably got more out of it than the kids.
Yeah.
But they were there, they were exposed to it. They're like, oh wow, this is these guys are Australian. This is what Australia was and
that's great.
And it's really cool.
Hopefully these days through schools, we're seeing that we're talking about the representation on ABC and other shows and things like that. Our kids will get so much more of a educated worldly view of all the different perspectives compared to us and even our parents growing up.
Yeah.
The picture book authors are doing amazing things. It's just unreal. Obviously Goody's got some out now too. But we had we were lucky enough at the school. I missed the day. I don't know where I was sick or whatever, or maybe when the kids were. But we had Greg Dries come out, and he's got a really cool book, Commonwealth, and it's slam poetry. But what they did and what the Year 6 teachers did at that time were got the kids to actually write a slam poetry based on his pattern stuff, and then eventually he came back or whatever and like, hey, check out some of the stuff the kids did, and he was blown away by it, saying, you've taken something that I've done to share my message and some of this, and your kids have gotten something and taken that, gone, he's so passionate about that, what am I passionate about? Yeah. And the things that they wanted, so it's really cool that
it's so good.
Yeah, these kids would have been like, who's this guy? I don't know. And then hear his story and he comes out and you're like, yep.
Have you seen the curriculum change over the years around the day or just in general?
Not so much of the day. I've always been that middle school, that 5, 6, 7, a little bit 8, 9 kind of thing. But I'm now focused 5, 6. And the timeline for history in regards to years, 4 kind of stops at the First Fleet. And then 5 hits on at the colonisation of Australia. Right. So you do look into it. The hard thing is probably...
You can't go into too much graphic detail.
Being delicate with the matter.
Yeah.
We can't change it. It's the past. It's history.
Yeah.
However, it brings up a lot of emotion for these kids because you come in and you talk about it. And then the higher end students, so they sit there, they know more about it. Like, well, what about what happened down here? Or, or what about that one? I've read about this. And so you're like, okay, well, how do I have conversation.
You're sort of at a good enough age there to be
Yeah.
semi-honest, you know?
Oh, you are. But
And then
you
they
just-
can go home and ask their parents a bit more about
You
it.
do try, and you do try to be, but it's also then those terms come up like the racist, and I'm like, we understand, yes, but we understand now. So back then it was like there wasn't that understanding. I said, but now, but again, it comes back to what we spoke about, with the authors and stuff. This, what are we going to do to change?
Yeah.
How are you going to change that? And like you said, you said that, Nick. It's not so much for us and our families and our kids to be wearing this.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's really important as dads and as Australians, we go, what are we going to do to change this? And like you said, instead of talking about this big divide, well, what can we do to come together? Because their culture it's amazing.
Yeah.
And what can we learn from them?
I think you hit the nail on the head before, though, Dave. I think it's important to teach our kids more than we've been taught about it in the past. Celebrate their culture, acknowledge what's happened in the past, but also teach our kids that they're not responsible for anything that happened in the past. So they shouldn't feel guilty or responsible for any of that. And the sorry culture and stuff, that's fine. It's been done. But I think if we continue on this celebration and education of their culture, I think that's a positive step forward.
Yeah.
Like coming from the firefighter side of things as well, like the Aboriginal culture, they're just, we're learning about everything now.
Yeah.
Like so much stuff. I've learned stuff in my 30s that I was never taught as a kid. And like from the firefighter stuff, there's a book at the moment, Protecting the Land with Fire or something. I can't remember what it was. It's like, and it's beautifully illustrated. The story's beautifully told. And it's basically about the elders coming in and teaching, I think it's in the book, it says the white fellas or like the white people, how to like protect the land with fire.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're doing it our way. And then there was all these massive bushfires because they were like, no, we're scared. Like basically we're scared of fire. We don't, we put fire out. We don't use it to against it. Anyway, and just listening to the song and reading that story, I was like, this is amazing. And because this is the stuff that we're doing now, because obviously we've listened to the Aboriginal elders. This is how the land's been kept for so many years, like hundreds of thousands of years. And now it's back to that. Like we're looking after it again. Starting to look after it again.
Wow. So is that at a national level or a Queensland level that they're doing that?
National.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because and being a teacher and that I've looked more into it as well. And through this, again, through like learning with the kids, like in this, we talk about them, being nomadic and, going around and stuff like this, but they were just so clever that they knew when they needed to burn and move on.
Yeah.
Because they knew that that's what needed to get the new growth and
what
the new
patterns
life.
they burn in. And
And then to go, but we're also been here for so long, so to ensure that we're not taking all of the resources and off we go. And
that's how they looked after the land.
Yeah. But also,
And this is the shit we need to be teaching our kids.
Yeah.
Like, not because we're going to be living on the land, but like
thousands of years
this is
of
how
knowledge.
this is how they've survived for so fucking long.
we've got GPS on our things. But
Now
they
our
would walk-
Wi-Fi goes down for an hour and everyone loses their mind. Like,
No Bluey.
oh my God.
But no, like I was just
Remember that blackout last year? It was ridiculous. At the end of last year, there was a blackout up in Griffin. I don't know about Nunda, but up in Griffin, there was a blackout for half a day. People lost their shit. Could you imagine back in the day? They didn't have power. Like, let's move to the next area.
I was
The
gonna say-
Wi-Fi might be better there.
I was going to say, my point is, we've got GPS now to find our way.
Yeah.
Like when they were when they were traveling or whatever, they're going on their journeys or whatever, they would see a marking and know they're in, another area. And I'm like, fucking holy shit, what? This is it's amazing things that they can. That landmark.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I've reached the river, or I've reached this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, eh?
Yeah.
Growing up, we scratched the surface with some of the ceremonies they might have done at primary school and things like that. It was never anything deep or extended. It was just like a bit of a little nod here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be so different for kids these days.
Oh, definitely. And just looking from the outside, it's really cool. I'm learning heaps.
See-
but it's back to the Australia Day side of things. Like, if you want to change the date, change the date. I don't think many people actually care whether you change the date or not.
Like I said, I think the conversations seems to be kind of evolving from that now.
Yeah.
because it doesn't look like the government is going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, let's stop just, pushing shit up a hill and, move on with the
Go in a
conversation.
different direction. Yeah. And it's working,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And I think what's interesting about the next, probably, let's say, a year to year and a half as we go through the next phase of the referendum, like we are talking about earlier, it is going to be a divisive time again, with this yes/no vote. So hopefully we're going to see a lot of
First Nations voice in
voice
Parliament.
to Parliament. Yeah, that's right. So hopefully we're going to see, from an advertising point of view, a lot of really smart, interesting and kind of creative ways that they're going to encourage people to vote.
Yeah.
In a positive way for that.
That really helps people who don't really care or don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And it helps them have a thought and have a opinion on whether they want to vote or not. So
Exactly. Yeah.
we have to vote, don't we?
I don't really think so.
Oh, really?
you might
It's
get
a yes from
fined.
me, dog.
Just quickly, if any listeners are out there and they know anybody that seriously that I could get in touch with on school level and stuff like that could come in, point me in the direction of a couple of elders and stuff like that, please get in touch with us. We always find it very difficult to get contacts.
Yeah.
To get them in.
The schools, yeah.
Yep, schools, anything like that, just to work with us in the area, anything like that, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Also, if you've got First Nation heritage and you're a dad and you've brought your kids up differently and are part of the culture and want to be part of the culture and promote the culture, we'd love to hear from you as well. We'd love to have a chat to you on the pod because I'm all for that.
Definitely.
Happy days, boys. Give us a spell. The dads have gone to knock the top off a cold one and have a captain cook. The ankle biters aren't giving their mum some strife. They'll be back in a sec. Don't blow your top.
Now, boys, before we jump straight into what I think are many listeners' favourite part of the episode, which is the Shit Dad Sports Wrap,
Obviously.
presented by me,
Yeah.
Cam. I wanted to share
Thanks for
something.
specifying that.
I think Nick's seen this, but Dave hasn't. If anyone hasn't seen this, this is quite amazing. This is something I found on the socials from the Iowa State Fair Husband Calling Competition.
Bob! 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 Hurry up! I don't want to be late! Bob, hurry! Bob! Robert! Dean! Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Key! Yoo-hoo! Cuckoo! Cuckoo! The clock says... Can you hear me? You get yourself in here right now! Come on! You know you're going to be late again, and you know that I want to get there on time. Roy! Right.
So that is the Iowa State Fair Husband Calling Competition. I'm going to try and find more of that. That was
Who
gold.
won? I want to know who
That
won.
old lady right It's no surprise that the oldest one won. She's been doing it for years.
Oh, I agree with you. That would have been funny just listening to.
Oh,
Watching it and seeing it, so much better.
so many chuckles.
Oh.
I love that gear. That's great. Get ready to hear about the sports you love most from a guy who doesn't love sport as much as you. It's the Shit Dad Sports Wrap.
With me, Cam. Big faking it query for Djokovic as Demon tries to end 37-match unbeaten run. Is Demon a player?
Yeah. It's
Demon?
Diminor.
Oh.
Yeah. Aussie's best chance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, everyone's going to know it anyway. It's not looking good.
Yeah, right.
No, definitely. The Joker is.
Spoilers. Spoiler alert.
I think he's about to destroy the demon.
The demon. Should we play that tribute song by Tenacious D?
Yeah, we should.
37 matches of unbeaten. That's great.
Yeah, that's crazy. But there was
He is an athlete. It's crazy.
There was talk, obviously, with his hammy that he's
Dead
just
set
faking
thought
it.
Demon would give him a run.
Yeah.
But he was faking it, you reckon?
Oh no, these aren't my headlines.
Uh-huh.
Okay, these are
Typical Australian sports. We're just like, oh, someone's good. Oh, they must be being a dog.
Yeah.
All right, Clucky is set for commentary acts after Noosa Park fracas. but he might have secured another gig, co-host on Jerry Springer. Wow, that was insane. And Carlos was there just in the background, like having a rumbo.
Carlos Stefanovic is an Aussie icon. I think he's the next best thing from Steve Irwin.
He's smart. He wasn't getting involved or on camera. He's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not,
But he
I'm
was
not here."
getting thrown the C-bomb at him the entire time.
Don't you say that? I did not see it, but supposedly Carl was having a bit of a dig at him live on air.
Yeah.
Without saying anything, just talking about his hamstring and stuff like this. Like, oh, my hammy's really sore. Giving it to Clarkey, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
That was a pretty iconic little moment in Australia. The host of the most popular breakfast shows having a biff or having it on with Clarkey.
Yeah.
All right. Jesus Christ. AO Star goes off on a joke call. Roasted for bold demand in first game of match. Explain to me what's going on here.
You see that one, Bence? No. So essentially, is it Auguste Batista or whatever his name is?
Batista Uga.
Thank you. I just said it the other way. He in the first game of
Roberto.
in the first game of the match, he got time violation on a serve, so he didn't serve in the time, and he blew up Deluxe at the chair umpire and then demanded the match official to actually come out. And the chair umpire's like, well, they're not going to bother with this.
Yeah.
He stood his ground. They came out.
He's like, I'm on break.
Yeah. But essentially, they came out to nothing anyway for just him to have a little bitch in the first game that he got time
First
violated.
round.
First game.
Oh,
first,
God.
he just got knocked out, but the first game, and I'm to get the match official out for that in the first game, not look good. But he's just been roasted all over Twitter and everywhere.
If you don't do it in the same way McEnroe did,
No.
in an entertaining way, people won't want a bar of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did the Australian Open get more boring when Kyrgios was ruled out?
Yeah. And Barty is not there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Demon's great. He's put in a good shift, but I'd love to see someone who's a bit more entertaining.
It's just fuck, poor bastard. What a run though! Like coming up against Joker in the fourth.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it's been an upset tournament. 1 and 2 on men and women out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can I read out the sports? Can I actually say that this is Dave's maiden planning session for the Shit Dad Sports Wrap, and he's actually nailed it. Can I read out a addition to this headline?
Mm-hmm.
Australian Open. Some massive upsets at the Australian Open in the round of 16, with heaps of unpronounceable top seeds dropping out to a heap of unpronounceable lower seeds. Is that accurate enough?
Hold on a second. Isn't there someone in there just called something Paul?
Yeah. Oh, Tommy.
Tommy Paul.
There's a guy called Momo. He's got 2 M's in the start of his first name. His last name is Momo. And he has a temper tantrum about the unruly Aussie crowd. And I personally could not be prouder to be Australian. They were carrying on like pork chops, the Aussie crowd.
Really?
Oh,
Getting into it?
yeah. So good.
I think any tennis player internationally knows that they come here that it's a bit more rowdy than Wimbledon.
There's going to be crowds cheering, booing, jeering, yelling, doing shoeies, carrying on like porks, and basically just showering you with shit. It's like the watching Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore, and like watching him tee off compared to all the other contestants. He's like getting the crowd all riled up and carrying on. He's the Nick Kyrgios in this situation, and then everyone else is like the rest of the unpronounceables.
That is a great analogy.
That's
Australia
really good.
is Happy Gilmore.
I do actually want to know. In that match that went till 4 a.m., the Murray and Kokonakis match,
Oh yeah,
were they serving piss right up until 4 a.m.? Could you imagine the Aussies in
hope
that?
so.
Fucking, if you stayed there till 4,
Pass out.
I can't believe they made the ball. Like I think Murray actually said it. I
Yeah,
can't
he
believe
said
they made the ball boy stay that long.
yeah. And but what were they going to do?
Can't they just...
Postpone
Time
it or well, they did the rain delays in all the
And that's why it was, because
Yeah.
it was rain delay, heat delay,
Yeah.
all those outside ones. So then it went so long. But again, it should have just been like, I know someone who's ball kidding down there, and they get like it's an hour shift, work for an hour and then you're off kind of thing.
Right.
But I thought you would have just probably put 2 and 2 together. Going, oh, this match is looking like it's going to be pretty late. Where are our older kids?
Yeah.
And send the real young ones home.
Yeah.
Like 4 a.m. Like damn.
Yeah,
That's
brutal.
cooked, hey?
Yeah.
Final one for tonight. Do the Dolphins have an extraordinary salary cap headache? It could land them a superstar, $2 million. Who are they signing? Camo. Of course, the best player in all of the league.
All I know is
And who was that?
that's old matey Potato.
Strawberry.
Isn't it Momo? Momo?
This is Michael Momo. Oh, so yeah, I looked at, baffled by that. They still have a bit of money up their sleeve. So the rule is in the salary cap, you have to spend 95% of your salary in that year, kind of thing. They've only spent 75%.
Oh, wow.
So they've still got that.
So they've still got $2 million
Ready
ready
to go.
and they don't have any good like superstar players.
They do have some big names.
Oh yeah, I know that too. Yeah.
But they're they're probably just chasing that one key signing.
Yeah.
Broncos just signed Marty Tapau. Cheering. That's a massive signing. Cheering. It came out of nowhere too.
He'll smash some gym records, but I'm not sure how much on the field.
Yeah.
Coming from a Titans man. Fucking hell. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. The best time of the week. I think it's definitely time to scrape into a bit of this. Shit that moment of the week. Can I begin the shit daddery this week?
Please.
It happened today, as usual on recording day. It just never fails to come through. First day back at school. Both my boys were so excited to get to school, and I was sitting there going, yeah, me too, man. Like, I'm going to have like one kid for a day. It's going to be phenomenal. And anyway, got to school. Mr. 7 goes to grade 2, loving it. Like, barely said goodbye. So good. I walked out of there feeling pretty chipper and happy about myself. Took Mr. 5 to grade 1. First day, grade 1. The teacher was quite strict. And which all about it because he's a bit of a menace himself. Probably needs a bit of direction and guidance. But the first thing she's done is gone, hands up if you can hear me. And I was just like, hand up. I was a bit intimidated. And then she said to the kids, all right, lunch boxes, drink bottles, and whatever other thing it was. I want it in your hands and I want you in 2 lines facing that way. Go. And I was like,
Did they
coming from they did it. So, like with the parents like shuffling them into the right spot and going from prep last year, oh come on my little sweethearts of the fairy garden darlings, and now it's like get in the fucking line. So dead set, got in line. He was like a bit sooky and I'm like, you got this. I gave him the pep talk before we went to school. I was like, you have this, you can do it, big boy now. I'm going to be waiting at this spot for you at 3:00. Come out marching, son. Get excited. And he's like, yeah, I've got this. Sweet. And then as soon as the teacher goes, all right, say goodbye to your parents. We're going into the class now. I was like, all right, calm down, love. And so anyway, they've all just marched into the classroom. He's just sort of waved goodbye and like sucking his thumb, a bit timid. And then I've gone, right, beautiful. That was easy. And just real smug. And I've like, elbows out, like strutting away. Yeah, that was easy. I'm out later. 20 meters away, 2 dads have gone, hey, Bart, I think that's your kid. He's sprinting to me. Mr. Five's sprinting up to me for another cuddle and crying. I'm like, oh, why did I have to be so smug?
You should have turned around and said,
Yeah.
that's not my kid.
That's not my kid.
I don't know him.
Who bought that one?
We spoke about this.
Gave you a pep talk and everything.
What about you, Cam?
Mine's a bit of some advice. It seems silly to know that we did this. So we went to Baby Bunting, obviously prepping for the new one, getting a couple of things. My whole attitude with my wife is, We've done it twice already. Don't spend $1. We've got everything, even
Yeah.
if it's old or dirty or ratty. Don't care. There were a couple of things we needed, so went into the shop. Made the mistake of going with the kids. You know, we didn't really have a choice. But in hindsight, shouldn't have taken them through what is the section where they have all their little cuddly toys and dolls.
Yeah.
Because, of course, as soon as my son gets in there, he runs up to the section that has his exact little doggy. He's got 2 at home. And he's like, oh, it's my dog. And he grabs about 3 or 4 off the shelf and he just starts ripping off the tags and the labels on them because he thinks they're his. He's just ripping them all off.
No.
I'm like, oh, God.
Stop.
Don't do this.
Stop it.
So, you know, he's already in a bit of a feral kind of mood. And then as a part of that, we're prepping him to move out of his room so the baby can eventually go in there. He's going to share a room with his sister. It's taken me about 6 months. I think my wife's finally coming around to the idea of a bunk bed.
Oh, yes.
Space maximizer. But we've taken the complete just little thing off the side of his cot to stop him rolling out. Before we went to bed the other night, my wife's like, you check on him, you make sure he's okay, and don't forget to just put the little those little fold out couch things they've all got.
Yep.
Put that on the ground next to his bed. Yeah, all good.
I got this.
That night, go to bed. Of course, forget to do it. Laying in bed. Thud. Daddy. I'm like, oh fuck. My wife's like, I'll go in. I was like, no, I'll go in. Oh, he missed the couch. No, I didn't put it down.
Got him.
Oh, that's awesome. Mine is mine's a little different. I had nothing. I was like on my best behaviour. I even had a friend's 2-year-old son's birthday. They had a little water slide and pool and stuff. And there was plenty of gold cans going around, or mangoes. But the missus, just before we came, is like golden. So I still can't put Miss 3.5 to bed without a fight. But Mum puts her to bed, no problem at all. But it's just like the end of the world for me. If she's not home, no problem, whatever. Anyway, made a mistake. She's gone, my finger hurts, it's itchy. I got a sore. I need a Band-Aid. And we're like, no, go to bed. And so then Mrs. said, all right, once I finish feeding this 9-month-old and put her to bed, if you're still up and still hurting, I'll come put one in. Anyway, I'm just watching it. She's coming out of the room like 3 times during this. I'll go back to bed. She starts lying on the door, on the ground behind the door. I'm watching her on the monitor, waiting. She hears the door next to it. Open, close, straight out. Mum, I need that Band-Aid. Anyway, comes in, puts it on. I'm like sitting there going, yeah, cool. Come back in. What are you doing back out? Like, hey, Mum, it's actually this finger.
Oh,
She's like, show me.
that would boil my piss.
Yeah, it is actually. It's like, I'm like, how did you miss it? Like, for once, it wasn't Dad.
Yes, love that. That's so good, mate. We've had some we've had something start this week that came up accidentally on the group chat called historical shitdaddery. Basically, shit your dad did to you that was pretty funny.
There's some cracking ones in there.
There were. I'm going to read one out for you now. We got a dad story from CJ. So when I was about 11 or 12, we used to go on a family road trip to Jindabyne, go camping for a week or 2 weeks. It was fucking great times. We'd go to Thredbo, mountain bike the ski tracks because it was summer, etc. Anyway, one of the days we were driving past Thredbo River, and even though it was summer, the water was colder than an Eskimo's earlobes because the snow and ice was defrosting, of course. Anyway, my dad, being the genius fuckwit, dared me to do a full dip head and all. So a full dip, head and all, into the Thredbo River in my budgie smugglers for $10. I talked him up to 50 and we had a deal. I did it, and the prick never even paid me never even paid me $50. So, lesson of the story: if you get paid up front for your dad's just doing it for his own entertainment.
Oh, that's cool.
Get paid up front, or your dad's just doing it for his own entertainment.
CJ had quite a few, didn't he?
He did.
To choose from.
He's got a lot, and I'd love to share them with you over the coming weeks.
Nice.
Siege. We also had one from Chris. I was about 13, 14, and my dad thought it'd be funny to do the drive-off stop thing while I was trying to get into the car one day. Been there, done it. It is hilarious. Was funny until I ran and jumped at the same time, and he hit the brakes. He didn't think it was so funny explaining my fractured sternum, 2 ribs, and a new car door later. Oh my God. Another one from Corey. My dad had a crack at some classic conflict management when I was a kid. My brothers were having their standard weekend blow up while Dad was working on our granddad's truck with him. I think Dad was a bit fed up by this point, so I put them both in a truck tyre and told them to sort it out amongst themselves. Needless to say, Mum was not impressed. Put him in a truck tyre. Fuck, that's awesome.
We should have called this segment "The Shit Your Dad Did That We Can't Do."
Of its time.
Yeah, historical shit
Yeah,
battery.
yeah.
That's why I love it.
Those are great.
I got one more, another one from CJ. This was his taster to get me intrigued, right? The day before him, me and my sister were set for our annual I didn't understand that first bit. Me and my sister were set for our annual interstate road trip to see my grandparents. We went for lunch, and he got a pie and hot chips, and I said, "Salt, please." He put pepper on it, and dead set, the dude tried to convince me that it was black salt. Dads back in the day were pretty fucking creative, hey?
Oh, we're fine, guys. We're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well, hey? I've just come across another one that I had to share with you boys because I got a mad chuckle from it. I'm in the bad dad category tonight. The wife was out at PT and I was playing Spotlight, hide and seek in the house in the dark. Obviously, I have to win because, competition. My eldest had also asked me to scare her tonight, and of course, I'm a man of my word. Anyway, cut to the last game of the night, and they couldn't find me and started to get a bit scared. When they were getting close, I gave them both a bit of a growl. They both squealed, and my little one started crying. I did comfort them, but gosh, I had the giggles for the next 40 minutes. Wise beyond her years, my youngest said to my wife that we shouldn't play that game again without mummy being home. So it seems I'm going to hell and will be forking out more money for counselling. It's true, though. When you play with your kids and they ask you to do something, you're not going to not do it just because it's scary.
And you're not going to half-ass it either.
No, of course. I scare the shit out of my kids all the time. They love it. Awesome. That sums up the shit daddery for the week, doesn't it?
As we say, shit dad moments.
That's it.
We're not shit dads.
No, exactly. 100%. And that wraps up another episode. Boys, do we have any final thoughts?
I've got one. One thing I saw this week as well on my Bluey Bandit Dad group. I don't know who needs to hear this, but a Bluey episode is only 7 minutes long. Her parents don't play with her all day either. You're doing a great job.
That's so
That's
good.
awesome. Mine's real simple. Be nice to your kids' teachers, please, because our hell's about to start.
100%. And when you drop your kids off at school, don't be smug because it's not as easy as it looks. Or run.
Yeah, run fast.
And drop at the front of the school, not at the classroom.
Exactly. Anyway, boys, have a great week, eh?
Cheers.
Bye.
Whether you came for some dad advice, a laugh, or some dad hacks, we thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen.
Please get involved on our socials at ShitDadPod on Instagram and TikTok, or ShitDad Podcast on Facebook, and of course the Shareline 07 30 40 95 45.
And support the guys who keep us rolling. Black Property Group and Anytime Fitness Griffin. Add value to your house with your dad bod out.
And don't forget, whether you're here for your kids daily or not, be present wherever you can because we're all in the same boat when it comes to fatherhood for the kids.